Every time you run in a dream, every time you fall, every time you wake with your chest on fire, something is trying to speak to you. You've ignored it, you've buried it, but it never stopped. It's time you finally listen. What if I told you that the hero you've been searching for, through every book, every decision, every longing, isn't someone you're going to meet, but someone you've already buried? What if the part of you built for radical change, anchored in unshakable clarity and burning with a quiet rebellion, was never missing but only hidden under years of silence, obedience and pretending? And where has it been this whole time? Waiting, just inside you. And what if I also told you that when this hidden part rises, it doesn't crawl, it erupts faster than you ever thought possible? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who spent his life mapping the human psyche, dedicated decades to exploring the unconscious through dreams, myths, and symbols. And what he discovered is this: beneath your guilt, beneath your roles, beneath your obedience, there is a hero, not a fantasy, not a storybook savior, but a force, a timeless instinct waiting to break through. Jung gave it its psychological name, the archetype of the hero, a pattern embedded in the collective unconscious, shared by every human being who has ever lived. But here's the part no one tells you. The hero doesn't begin with a sword, it begins with a whisper, a refusal, the quiet moment when you realize you can't keep pretending. But if you suppress that whisper long enough, it doesn't go away. It turns inward, it becomes shame, it becomes fatigue, it becomes soul death. Jung warned us, the hero's main feat is to overcome the monster of darkness. It is the long-hoped-for and expected triumph of consciousness over the unconscious. But when that inner battle never begins, when you keep your fire locked in silence, something sacred in you begins to decay. And for some, especially those who live with depth pressing on them like a second heartbeat, the ones who see patterns where others see noise, this suppression feels unbearable. Today we'll uncover the 8 signs you've been suppressing that hero inside you, and I'll warn you, some of these will sting. Sign 3 might expose a secret resentment you don't want to admit. Sign 7 might quietly break your heart, because it reveals why you protect everyone else, while no one protects you. But if you stay to the end, you'll see exactly how to stop betraying yourself, and how to return to the fire you buried. Let's begin. Sign 1. You feel guilt for wanting more. You've done everything right. Built a stable life, maybe even one that others admire, but when the noise stops, a quiet pressure builds in your chest, a hunger you can't explain, a subtle ache. You want more, not more comfort, not more status, but more breath, more depth, more space to be you, without editing yourself first. But before you even reach for it, something clamps down. You judge your own desire, you label it selfish, you call yourself ungrateful, you shrink it before anyone else can reject it. And that's how the hero is buried, not by force, but by guilt. Here's the cruel paradox. The more you dim yourself to be accepted, the more the world forgets to see you. Jung reminded us, we should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect, because this isn't your mind aching, it's your soul. And every time you suffocate that hunger, you betray the part of you that still wants to live. Sign 2. You play roles instead of living truths. You've learned how to be the good one, the strong one, the nice one, especially the nice one, but deep down you know it's just that. A role, a performance. Not who you are, who you had to be. Jung called this the persona, the mask we wear to survive in a world that rewards appearance over essence. But if you wear it too long, it stops being armor. It becomes a prison. And here's the secret. People can feel the mask. They may admire the role. They may even depend on it, but they're not connecting to you. If they're close to you because of the mask, don't expect respect, expect control. They'll try to keep you predictable. But the moment you drop the mask, something irreversible happens. Some people leave, others stay. But either way, they finally see you. Not the version of you they could use, but the version of you they can't ignore. Sign 3. You secretly resent those who dared. You admire them, the ones who speak without apology, who walk away without begging, who start over without asking for permission. But sometimes, admiration hides resentment, because they remind you of your silence. They awaken the part of you that never left the cage. Jung once wrote, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. That irritation, it's your fire suffocating. That bitterness, it's not a verdict against them, it's a mirror. Here's the twist most people miss. Sometimes the shadow isn't the monster, it's the abandoned hero. The envy you feel isn't about them, it's about you, the part you never let live. So when resentment rises, don't just ask, what's wrong with them? Ask the harder question, what inside me are they awakening? Sign 4. You've built false peace that feels like death. You've designed your life to avoid collapse. No storms, no ruptures, no risks. From the outside it looks like peace. From the inside, it's slow suffocation. No awe, no fire, no breath of soul. You've built not peace but a padded cage. Suppression dressed as stability. Emotional anesthesia disguised as maturity. Jung warned, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. The hero doesn't preserve illusions. It burns through them. So if your calm feels lifeless, if your days are quiet but your soul is withering, don't confuse that with peace. It's not peace, it's paralysis. Sign 5, you say, I don't know what I want. But here's the truth, you do know. You've always known. But knowing would demand choosing, and choosing would demand change. So you play the confusion card. I'm not sure. I just need more time. But you're not unsure. You're afraid. Afraid that once you speak the truth aloud, you'll have to live it. Jung reminded us, most neurosis doesn't come from ignorance, but from refusing the legitimate suffering that growth demands. You can't dodge the pain. You only choose the kind of pain you'll live with. The pain of change or the pain of regret. And every day you delay, every time you pretend not to know, you pay the tax of betrayal. In silence, in numbness, in the ache of a life unlived. Sign 6. Your dreams keep chasing you. Running, falling, being chased, locked rooms, breaking free. These aren't random. Jung showed us the unconscious speaks in symbols. But what about the recurring dreams of escape? They're not just fear, they're mythic signals. The trapped hero trying to break out. Jung once wrote, the hero is the symbolical exponent of the movement of libido. And by libido, he didn't just mean sexual energy in the narrow sense. He meant the raw psychic energy of life itself, the force that drives growth, change, and creation. Which means every time you dream of running, it's life itself trying to move through you. Ignore it, and the dreams grow darker. Listen, and they become a map. So the next time you wake up breathless, shaken, don't just ask what scared you. Ask, what inside me is trying to move? Sign 7. You protect everyone, but no one protects you. You've become the emotional anchor, the one who stays calm so the room doesn't fall apart. You call it empathy, you call it maturity, but beneath the names is something unspoken. No one ever taught you how to be held, so you became the holder. But here's the cost. You turned your fire into warmth for others, and now you're freezing. Jung warned of this trap. When we project the hero outward, we forget it was meant to be lived inward. The inner hero isn't a servant, it's a sovereign. And sovereignty means this. You choose when to burn and when to give warmth. Sign 8. You collapse the moment others disapprove. You were ready. One brave word, one unapologetic step, and then someone frowned, someone flinched, someone made you feel too much, and so you folded. That's the fracture. You made their fear more sacred than your own becoming. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But instead of a birthright, you turned it into a permission slip, one you keep waiting for others to sign, and no one will, because your soul doesn't need permission, it needs fire. Now you've seen the 8 signs. You've seen where the betrayal begins, how the hero inside you was buried under guilt, roles, silence, and false peace. Recognition is only the first step. What follows is the real work. Resurrection finds its path the moment you stop performing for a life you don't even respect. The most dangerous part of you isn't the one you control. It's the one you keep chained, the one that waits for the day you finally break. The hero inside you doesn't need applause. It doesn't need permission. It needs one thing, truth. And the moment you choose truth over delay, fire returns to your soul. Jung reminded us, we cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. So stop condemning your hunger. Stop silencing your fire. Accept it, walk with it, and let it burn everything false. You weren't born to perform. You weren't born to disappear. You were born to become, return with fire. And remember this, the hero's call belongs to every soul. But for those rare, deep intuitive minds, INFJ, INTJ, INFP, and INTP, it carries an extra voltage, because the very symbols that inspire you are also the ones that haunt you when you suppress the call. If the fire is buried, you'll see it in every dream, every pattern, every silence. It won't let you forget. If this spoke to you, declare it in the comments. I will no longer betray my hero. That's your line in the sand. That's where the betrayal ends. And if you haven't already, subscribe. This circle is for those who refuse to disappear, for the ones who choose fire over silence. Until next time, take care, rising heroes. And remember, the hero you buried is not dead. It's gathering fire. When it rises, that will be the next story. But keep this between us, because not everyone is ready for the next story.